At dawn, as the city slowly awoke, silence hung heavily over polling stations across Kampala and Wakiso. This was supposed to be a day of decision, a day when ordinary citizens would step forward to choose their local leaders, a day when democracy would speak through fingerprints, faces, and ballots.
These VVBK machines.
Disappointingly, the machines never came. At polling stations in Nansana, Busiro East, Kasangati, Chira, and Makindye, the biometric voter verification kits, the electronic heart of the electoral process, were missing. Boxes were opened. Officials searched. Voters waited. But the machines were nowhere to be found. Without them, the system designed to guarantee credibility and trust collapsed even before voting began. They are not here, but we must start, a presiding officer told our reporter. And so, democracy began to unfold manually. Across Makindye division, election officials reached for old, worn-out registers paper lists, once replaced by technology, now revived out of necessity. Under the law, voting must begin at exactly 7 a.m. But on this morning, time stood still. Last week, during the presidential and parliamentary elections, the same machines had failed, causing chaos, long queues, and rising anger. Eventually, the Electoral Commission ordered a nationwide shift to manual voting. Now history was repeating itself in front of everyone's eyes. Even on the eve of this election, uncertainty remained. The Electoral Commission could neither confirm or deny whether the biometric kits would arrive. And when morning came, these kits did not arrive. But technology was only part of the story. At a number of polling stations, voting could not begin, not because of the missing machines, but because of the people themselves who were missing. By law, 10 voters must be present to witness the opening of the ballot box. But hour after hour, polling officials waited and waited and waited. And in some places, only 2 voters came. In other places, 3 voters arrived. And in some other places, no voter arrived. Those who arrived grew tired and eventually left. In Nansana, local leader Mozamilu Kakoza watched in disbelief. Even the people who came got tired and eventually went back. People will be very few today. A nearby witness, Bridget Nanunji, a polling agent, saw the same. People are no longer interested. If they didn't vote for the president, what did you expect today? Indeed, Uganda's January 2026 presidential election recorded the lowest voter turnout since 1996. Only half of all the registered voters showed up to cast their ballots. And now, the silence of these polling stations seems to echo the same disappointment. At Nansana Division headquarters, young men leaned over pool tables, casually observing democracy drift past them. Candidates will now have to move house to house, ferrying voters, one youth said. They laughed, but their words carried a painful truth. In Uganda's elections, turnout has become a currency, and mobilization, usually fueled by money, transport refunds, and small incentives, usually decide who becomes victor. Whoever ferries more voters will win. But behind all the jokes lies a deeper crisis, a growing distance between the people and the process. The Electoral Commission insists that biometric verification is critical to protect the vote. And yet, repeated failures, logistical breakdowns, and late deliveries have steadily eroded public trust. Yet, repeated failures, logistical challenges, and late deliveries have steadily eroded public trust, especially in urban areas where expectations are usually very high and the patience is usually very thin. By mid-morning, most polling materials had arrived, but enthusiasm had not. The stations remained quiet, the queues were absent, and the urgency was gone. In place of excitement stood hesitation. In place of confidence stood doubt. And as the sun climbed higher, a haunting question lingered in the air. What happens to a democracy when the people stop showing up? Was this election a reflection of voter fatigue, political disappointment, economic hardship, or the slow erosion of belief that one vote can still make a difference? On this day, ballots were cast, but in many places, democracy whispered when it should have roared. And when Uganda moves forward, the silence of these polling stations may speak louder than any result. Uganda Radio Network will continue to follow up on developments and bring you updates as the story unfolds. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow for more breaking stories.